Out of all life on Earth, the Amazon houses 9.5% of the world's biodiversity, according to Lewison and Prado in 2005 in Conservation Biology. Though these days we are losing 3 football fields of the Amazon every minute, according to Frias in 2019 in a Business Insider article. And also, 17% of it has already been lost, according to several scientists in 2014 in the WWF report State of the Amazon. Well, if the Amazon forest is lost, this will cause several irreversible reactions and exacerbate climate change. The reasons why this topic is so controversial is that without chopping down the rainforest, there would not be enough farmland to support Brazil's economy, which is why President Bolsonaro has lifted restrictions on clearing the Amazon rainforest. The current destruction of the Amazon rainforest is not stopped. It will lead to its collapse, and this will affect the climate and other natural systems all over the world. If the Amazon were to collapse, this would have catastrophic consequences on the ecosystem and the planet. About 1/10 of all species on Earth live in the Amazon. Having a higher biodiversity helps keep the ecosystem in balance and healthy. Each organism has a role to play in the ecosystem. If you were to remove a predator from the ecosystem, the population of herbivores would increase and in turn decrease the plant population. And you just have this constant up and down of both of these populations. And it just throws things out of balance and the ecosystem can suffer. In cases like this can cause more species to go extinct because the balance is being lost and is going all over the place. As we continue to chop down the Amazon, more and more of that biodiversity is lost and steps closer towards the ecosystem collapse. Not only is biodiversity being affected, but the climate could also be affected. The Amazon is this massive carbon sink. It takes carbon from the atmosphere and puts it in the ground. Which means the Amazon is crucial in combating man-made climate change. And people will just say, well, why don't we plant more trees? Yes, that will help, but we need these old growth forests because they already are huge trees and they already have the recycling of carbon and putting it in the soil. With new growth forests, it needs to develop that carbon sink. And without the Amazon, we would lose oxygen production because the Amazon produces 6% of the world's oxygen. The Amazon is one of the most important ecosystems on Earth. If chopping down the Amazon is not stopped, we will lose it. 17% of the Amazon is already gone, and if we reach 20 to 25% of it, the ecosystem will collapse. Not everything will necessarily die, but a lot of things will. A very large chunk of the biodiversity will go extinct. We don't know exactly how much or how different organisms will respond to this collapse, but we do know that only the most drought-resistant organisms will be able to survive because the rain cycle that the Amazon has is that it's instead of letting the water just drain back into the ocean, it recycles the water in the ground and brings it back up into the air, which then rains down on the rainforest. And when you chop down all the trees that do that, then it starts to turn into a more like grassland savanna type of ecosystem. So only the most drought-resistant organisms will survive. And the collapse will also release a bunch of CO2 into the atmosphere. This will make it even more harder to combat climate change because we will have even more carbon in the atmosphere than we already do. And if we lose the Amazon, this will be one hard hit on all life on Earth. With the loss of biodiversity, an increase in CO2 in the atmosphere, and desertification of the Amazon will result in a very negative way. Because not only does the water cycle in the Amazon affect the Amazon, it also affects weather patterns all over the world. And if that happens, more extreme events, natural disasters will happen, which is not good. Even this year you've seen there was several hurricanes that went through the eastern United States and Gulf of Mexico, and also the fires this year. If we keep losing the Amazon, then it will make these things even worse than they already are. With the current destruction of the Amazon rainforest, if this is not stopped, it will lead to its collapse, and this will affect climate and other natural systems all over the world. This planet cannot afford to lose the Amazon.